Hey everyone, it's Isaac here at Forza Sports. I'm here with Anthony. We're in our Forza Performance store. He was stopping by to get some gear for his next training camp, and I just asked him if he could sit down with me. We could speak a little bit and just share some things with you. So, just starting off, Anthony, if you want to introduce yourself to everyone.
So I'm Anthony The Barracuda Muta. I'm a 3-0 as a professional. I have an upcoming fight November 8th at Mohegan in Wilkes-Barre. So I've been a long-time partner with Forza Sports. I've always been very grateful for the ongoing support that they've given me. I always say, like, I literally went from having the same pair of gloves, shoes, everything for like 8 years. I had the same gloves I was hurting myself in. Now I have so much stuff, I don't even know what to do with it. I'm giving it away. I'm like, and that's all thanks to Forza Sports. So they definitely changed my life in that way. It's crazy. I never would have expected that all these doors would open up just from promoting myself on social media more. So if you're a fighter, promote yourself on social media. Makes big changes.
Yeah, it's great to hear. We like to help out, especially in this area. I mean, northeastern Pennsylvania is bigger on boxing than I think a lot of people know. Maybe you could tell people, I mean, we're here in Penargil. He's a little bit more north than us, and that area is booming right now. It's growing day by day up in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Maybe you could just mention that real quick to everyone.
So yeah, in the Northeast PA 570 area, there's a lot of the boxing scene slowly getting bigger and bigger out there. Fortunately, I mean, when I first started, there was a couple pros in the area, like me and Nelson Morales. We've been working with each other for, going on 8 years at this point, and now there's just more fighters, more hungry amateurs that are coming out of the woodwork, making some noise. So it's great to be involved in the area and see the boxing rising as much as it is in the area.
Shout out to Nelson Morales, by the way.
Yeah, like Nelly.
Yeah. Could you tell us how you got started? What brought you into boxing?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was originally in MMA and like martial arts. Like I was doing that when I was 7 years old, and it was funny. I used to always meet up with like my buddies at the YMCA. And I was always really good, really tricky with my legs when it came to kicks and everything like that. Like I envisioned myself like going to the UFC and everything. Like I was big and watching UFC at the time. And I went to boxing and I absolutely fell in love with it. I was like, you know what? I don't miss getting kicked in my legs. Boxing is where it's at. I fell in love with it right from the get-go. And like my personality, the way it is, like when I'm doing something, I'm 100% all into it. Like I have a very addictive personality. So obviously that's a blessing or a curse. So I just chose to put it towards the right things, obviously, with boxing. And 8 years later, here we are.
That's crazy. That's actually really interesting. I didn't know that. Me being a little bit older than you, I'm so used to hearing about people, with MMA being a newer form of martial arts and, shows and everything. I'm used to hearing about people coming from boxing, then moving to mixed martial arts. So to hear someone that actually started off in mixed martial arts, then moved to boxing, it's actually really cool to hear. And just to see everything come full circle. And you just mentioning, giving it 100%. I've seen that. Anyone here who knows Anthony has seen that. He trains hard. He's always working. He promotes himself very well, and he's traveling. I mean, he's stopping here, which is an hour away from where his home camp is, and then he's going to move another hour further east to go to another boxing gym and then turn around and run back home and probably go for a run tonight. And it's just nuts. So if you could just speak on that, the dedication that you put into the sport and what it means to you, what keeps you motivated, what keeps you going.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely my life, especially the traveling, because I've realized, if I want to be a world-class fighter, I need to be around other world-class fighters. I need to be around other world-class coaches.
Absolutely.
All of that. So like, the Jersey, New York, Philly area is all booming down. It's no secret. Philly, all those great fighters are produced out of that area, but I'm 2.5 hours away from that area. So that's a sacrifice I have to make. And it is. I mean, like for me just to go down and train at Coach Anthony's gym in Jersey. That's 2.5 hour ride for me. And, I'll usually be there a good 2-3 hours and then, 2.5 hour ride back. It's literally, it's a whole, like an 8 hour workday, literally just to go there. But that's just what's required for me to grow. So that's what I do. As far as like what drives me, originally, because, I really don't come from, I always say there's nothing special about me. I'm just a normal dude. I just have a passion. I put my focus towards this, and I really want to show other people that they can do the same thing. And obviously, as people know, in February, on my birthday, I lost my mom, and a promise I had made to my mom when she was here, and I promised her, I said I would be a world champion. And when I seen her for the last time, I said the same thing to her. I said I will be a world champion. So now that's a promise that I have to keep. So it ignited a whole different kind of fire in me. Like I already had the fire in me to begin with, but that just kind of it really took things up a notch for me. So now everything I do, I mean, like, you know, when I was just overseas in Medellin, like, you know, before the fight, I'm sitting in the locker room, I'm looking at her obituary card, I'm looking and I'm talking to her, you know, I'm everything I'm doing, it's for her now. So like that, I gotta keep that promise, I gotta own that promise, and I gotta live up to that promise.
You know, you said two things there that really stood out to me a lot. First off, just going back to the beginning of things, when he spoke about, you know, the traveling and having to go 2.5 hours to go to Philly, that's just one way, and it being like a whole work day when he's done, and doing that day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, it really builds a type of perseverance inside of somebody. So where Anthony, who's now fighting around the world, can fly to Colombia, be completely out of his comfort zone by himself, go there and get the W and come back home like it's not a problem, where other people would not be willing to do that. But he's put himself through that constant test of traveling, being in uncomfortable situations. Going to Philly is no joke. Even if you live 30 minutes outside of it, it's no joke. So for him to be able to do that, it's given him the character that he needs to be able to try to conquer the world. Mm-hmm. And obviously, speaking about your mother, I mean, the perseverance and willpower, you said something there about you're not special, which I would say you are special just for saying that. You know, being humble is something that you can't really fake. So for him to say that and truly believe it just lets you know that he is special. And for him to go through the things that he's going through, still drive 2.5 hours to Philadelphia the very next day, still fly out to Colombia and fight, still be here, smile on his face, willing to push through it, lets you know that he has that willpower that does make him special. In a sport like boxing, it's not who's the strongest, it's not who's the fastest, it's none of that stuff. Who has the biggest heart, who has the willpower to persevere when times get tough is going to be the person who's going to be the best. So that's why I truly believe that Anthony's going to be a champion. He already is a champion to me, and I'm just glad to be along for the ride. Yeah, no problem, man. Now, back to the questions. My next question would just be something about training camp, differences. You had an amateur career, you had a professional career. Can you talk about maybe some of the differences in not just training, but fighting, preparation, weight management, you know, between the two? Yeah,
so the amateurs and the pro is obviously a huge difference. I mean, obviously you have your, you know, the whole no headgear factor. So like, I've always had more of a pro style to begin with. Like, I've never been the fighter to go in there and throw 700 punches. And obviously the amateurs, I lost fights just simply because I got outworked. You know, they got through more punches than me. But the weight, the difference in cutting weight, that's the biggest thing. You know, in the amateurs, I think they allot you minimum of 3 hours you have. So you really can't, you know, if you're walking around at 170 pounds, you know, I fought at 165, I fought at 160. You know, I really couldn't go down to 154 pounds. You just wouldn't have the time to rehydrate back up. But in the pros, it's different because you have that 24 hours rehydration period. But that is, I mean, cutting that weight, because I mean, I walk around 170 pounds. So for me to cut to 154, it's a lot. It's draining. But I mean, it's definitely more rewarding in the pros, I feel like. You know, obviously, like, it was crazy. In my pro debut, like, I stepped on the scale at 154, and 6 hours later, I was 167. I was like, it's incredible. Like,
coming from the amateurs and experiencing that has to be nuts.
It is, yeah. Like, because I already know, like, I'm small for the weight class. Like, I'm short. I mean, like, so most of the guys I'm gonna be fighting are, you know, maybe 5'10", 6 foot, you know. Whatever the case. But I mean, that's no surprise. It was like that for me, the amateurs anyway. I'm actually, I get thrown off more when the guy's actually my size or shorter, because it's just not the style. I'm so used to fighting guys that are taller than me. For my whole career, I've done that. But it's definitely much more rewarding in the pros, I feel, than the amateurs. As far as, like, it feels much more rewarding to get a win, and it's definitely it's different. It's different, but I love it. I love the pros so much more.
Oh, that's awesome. Good. So we're going to keep it up. And as far as competing in the pros, I mean, you have a fight coming up next month in your hometown, correct? Yeah, are you excited about that?
Absolutely. November 8th in Mohegan. I've been dreaming to have that hometown fight. I know that there was really supposed to be one. It was June 22nd, I think it was. Ended up getting canceled, unfortunately. But yeah, because I've been, you know, the flying overseas and fighting is nice. You know, it's, you know, good fights to build my record. But I want to be able to fight for my hometown fans, and you know, the support I've received for this fight is just nothing short of incredible. I mean, like, I got tickets, like, I got a batch of tickets from the promoter, sold them out like literally within a couple of days, and then I had to pick up more. As like just about those are sold out. Like, I was like, just overwhelming support. You know, the sponsors, everyone coming out of the woodwork to support. It's definitely a very, very, very great feeling, and I'm extremely grateful for it.
Well, that's great. I can't wait for the fight. I just want to say again, for this fight being local and us being in this area, I mean, like again, I've said before, I'm a little bit older than Anthony. I've seen a lot of the guys coming into the pros, promoting themselves, working towards, that goal. And I'm just happy to say in this next generation to see Anthony leading the way for all the guys who are about to do it now. I mean, he's going to be on these cards. We mentioned Nelson. We have a bunch of other guys. There's Shaquem out in Easton. We have a lot of guys in Northeast PA who are willing to put their names on the map. I have some killers out in Bethlehem and Allentown right now who are really doing great work. So it's just great that Forza can be involved and that we have guys like Anthony who are willing to stop by and, just let everyone know what we're willing to do to help out at the same time. Because again, I didn't want to just make another video just showing you guys a product and hoping that you go on and buy it. Anthony knows we're all about support. We want you guys to get better every single day at whatever it is, any way we can help. And that's why we're here. If there's anything you want to say, man,
amen to that.
The floor is yours.
So one thing I would say, if you're a young fighter out there, you're an amateur, even a pro, one of the most important things and something I would have never even anticipated impacting my career as much as it has is promoting yourself on social media. Like I never would have anticipated the doors that would have opened up for me. It's partnerships that I've gotten, people that I've met through social media. Like I feel like it, and just in a short amount of time, like I really only have been cracking down on my social media maybe a little over a year ago. And the doors that have opened up is nothing short of incredible. I mean, because boxing at the end of the day, it's a business. And it comes down to really who knows you, how many, you can be the best fighter, you can be the most talented fighter, but if people don't know you and people don't want to see you fight and you can't fill up the seats in the arena, you're going to sit on the shelf.
Very true.
And that's just the reality of the business. I mean, it's sad because, I see a lot of great fighters that they sit on the shelf. Like I always use the example of Edwin De Los Santos. He's a great fighter. He's dangerous. And for that reason, he sits on the shelf. Yep. Because, let's say if I'm the promoter and Isaac's my fighter and I'm looking for a name to build to build Isaac's record up, Edwin De Los Santos is going to be the last guy I'm going to pick. He doesn't have any belts. There's no reason I'm going to go around all my wits just to avoid him because he's a dangerous fighter. He's got a risk of losing. So and it's sad because for that reason he's sitting on the shelf and it's not his problem. I mean, it's not his fault. I mean, he's a very skilled fighter, but that's the harsh realities of the boxing business.
That's very true. Great example. A lot of people get quiet when you bring up Edwin's name. A lot of 135, 140 pounders don't want to, be mentioned in the same sentence as him. And that's a great point. There's a lot of really great fighters out there that would most definitely be world champion or have world champion capabilities that aren't getting the matchups because, like he said, they're not properly promoted or don't have the proper representation, and nobody's going to risk putting their money up to lose to somebody that nobody's ever heard of before. So, I mean, it's very unfortunate, but fortunately, he's been able to kind of just take the steering wheel and say, I'm going to make sure I promote myself if nobody else is. And if they are, then even better.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I really, obviously I'd love to sign a promotional company, one day. Right now, I'm like a free agent. I can do what I want, move my brand the way I want to. And that's nice because I feel like no one's going to put the effort into promoting myself the same way I can do it myself. There's really no better way to do it than social media. There's no better way to do it out there. It's like I said, boxing's a business. I'm the product. You can have the best product in the world. You can have a product that cures cancer out of your garage, but if it's not marketed correctly, the product's not going to go nowhere. And boxing's the same way. I'm the product. I have to be marketed correctly or no one's going to know who I am. So it's like the same effort and time that you put into training. And I know it's hard. I mean, it's the training is a full-time job in itself. You've got to put that same effort and energy into promoting yourself and marketing yourself out there, getting people to know who you are, getting people to know your name. That is just as important. You got to put just as much effort into that as you do your training.
All right. I want to hit you with some rapid fire questions real quick. Just first answer that pops up to your mind. All right. I'm just going to hit you with 3 real quick. All right. Let's go sparring, open face or full face headgear?
Full face.
Full face. Okay. And why is that?
If you would have asked me that 7 years I would always tell you, I always loved the open face. But as I got more through my career, I don't really feel the need to walk around with bumps and bruises. I don't need to do all that. So if I can avoid getting a black eye or walking around with bruises, and
I think a lot of people think when you're wearing full face that it's because you're scared of getting hit. And really it's more so being like, no, I'm aware that I'm going to get hit and I'm welcoming it. Bring it on. Extra protection here. Let's get it in.
Yeah.
You know, so. All right, next question. Let's see. In a fight, corner break, are we sitting down or standing up?
I always prefer to stand. I know that would be a habit I would have to, break eventually, as you go into, 10, 12 round fights.
Hard habit to break.
Yeah, it is. Because, I mean, I feel like when you sit, like it's
very compressed, harder to catch your breath, and you got to stand back up again. Yeah. I agree with that. I can see, like, I watched Canelo, and you can see that in some of his fights, there's a point where he stands maybe up until the 8th or 9th round. And then the 9th round, he decides to kind of sit down. And with him, it's not as big of a deal, but maybe a lesser fighter, you would look at that as like, oh, he's finally tired now. You look for whatever little thing you can to pump yourself up in a fight. All right, next question. This will be my third and last one. Post-fight meal, do we have a favorite?
Oof.
Snack, candy, coffee?
It was funny. There was something I had in, I remember when I weighed in Colombia, and I never would have expected that it would have like revived me the way it did. Because it was a Coca-Cola. At Coca-Cola, I was literally sitting there in the...
Oh, yeah, that old school Coca-Cola.
I was literally sitting there in the hotel. I was having like the little baby food, like the little yogurt pouches.
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah.
yogurt, like they had like
I know what you mean
applesauce or mango. Because very easily digestible carbs. So I would have a little sip, and walk around the hotel room, let it digest, and have another little sip. And I was taking little small sips of Coca-Cola. And like, I swear that it brought me back to life in a way I would have never anticipated. And I was like, I'm on to something here.
Went out and got a knockout.
And then I went, and then I went and seen another world-class fight. I won't mention his name because he told me not to give away his secrets. But I was talking to him, and he told me, he's like, you know what I usually have after weight? He's like, don't tell anyone this. He's like, because this is my little secret. He's like, Coca-Cola. And I was like, I knew I was onto something.
Nice. That's crazy.
I was like, I knew it.
I've heard that before, like people running marathons, like drinking like Dr. Pepper and stuff like that. So maybe it's just something that after like, the extreme weight loss or something like that. That's crazy.
I think because I looked it up. I was curious on the science of it because it contains glucose and fructose, which basically is just very, very, very fast source of energy for your muscles, essentially, like for your body. So it's just it was great. It definitely brought me back to life. So
your secret's out now.
Yes, it's out now.
Oh man, they're not gonna have any Coca-Cola at the Mohegan.
Coca-Cola.
All right,
sponsor me.
I'm gonna hand you off the gloves now, unless there's anything else you want to mention. And now, everyone, for the real reason he came here. He's got an intense training camp that he's in right now. He was telling me how he really liked the rival Guerrero fight gloves from his last fight, the SF, Mexican horsehair, and was asking about some sparring gloves, take it easy on his hands during this training camp. He's fighting back-to-back, so here you go, sir.
Oh, my man, thank you.
Some nice 16 ounces, put some work in.
Oh, I love it, man. I love these gloves.
Yeah, right.
The way to go.
Yeah, they really stepped their game up with, adding the Mexican horsehair and just closing in on that market.
Because I remember the first gloves that I used for the pro, they were, what's the other one? They're HDEF or whatever.
They're hard.
They're harder. Yeah. Like it's and they're nice, but I personally like the ability to be able to have a little bit of movement in my hand.
I agree. I love like Mexican horsehair and just the soft feeling it around your wrist. I mean, yeah, they're great. Nice. After wearing a pair, it's hard to go back to foam or anything like that. Oh God,
sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't forget, guys, follow along on Forza Sports Instagram. Follow my Instagram, Muta Boxing, Forza Sports. We actually have a giveaway live right now that's going to be ending the day after my fight. I'm giving away a signed pair of gloves from my pro debut, as well as another pair of Guerrero gloves. And so enter on that. It's pinned to my reels. You'll see it. The giveaway ends the day after my fight, November 9th.
Yeah.
Oh, man.